Tennessee. How y'all doing? You sound great. I can barely see you. That's fine. That's fine. Listen, so it's so great to be with my home folk and a show and just be in my hometown. I just love it so much. Thank y'all for coming to spend the evening with me. I'll start you off easy, like a good lover would. I think I accidentally got my nephew's pants today. I'll start you off with this. This is from one of my favorite musicals, Pippin. Everything has its season. Everything has its time. Show me a reason and I'll soon show you a rhyme. Cats fit on the window seat, children fit in the snow. So why do I feel I don't fit in anywhere I go? Rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've gotta be where my spirit can run free. I gotta find my corner of the every man has his daydream, every man has his goal. People like the way dreams have of sticking to the soul. Thunderclouds have their lightning, nightingales have their song. But can't you see I want my life to be something more than long? The rivers belong where they can ramble. Eagles belong where they can fly. I've gotta be where my spirit can run free. I gotta find my corner of the sky. Oh, someone seemed destined to settle for something small, but I won't rest until I know I'll have it all. So don't ask me where I'm going, just listen, and when I'm gone, far away you'll hear me sing softly to the dawn, to dawn. Rivers belong where they can fly. I gotta be where my spirit can run free. I gotta find my corner of the sky. Love that song. I'll launch right into one of my favorite Disney movies as a kid growing up that eventually went to Broadway. From Aladdin, you might know this song. of a hating for the thief service that had 1,000 tales. You're in luck, 'cause up your sleeve you got a magic that'll never fade. You got some power in your corner now, some ammunition in your can. You got some punch, pizzazz, man and how. All you gotta do is rub that lamb, and I say, Mr. Overlander, Sabbath, will your pleasure be? Let me take your order, but shut it down. You ain't never heard of it like me. Life is your restaurant, and I'm your maitre d'. Come on and whisper what it is you want. You ain't never had a friend like me. Yes, we pride ourselves in service. You're the king, the boss, the shy. Say what you wish, it's yours to dish out. About a little baklava, have some of a column A, try all of column B. Whatever you do, you ain't never had a friend like me. Oh, can your friends do this? Can your friends do that? Can your friends pull these out of their little head? Oh, but can your friends go? I wish on 2 or 3. Well, I'm on the top, you a big name pop. You ain't never had a friend like me. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend, never had a friend. You ain't never had a friend like me. Feeling good already? Yeah, listen, so I find it an honor to be able to introduce my life and work to so many of you. My name is Levi Christ. I am from Oliver Springs, Tennessee. Yeah. Graduating class of 5 people. I was valedictorian with the C average. Only up from there, huh? A lot of people. I love going around the country and talking about my hometown and East Tennessee heritage and culture. I find out a lot of people know about Oliver Springs, Tennessee, because of October Sky, the Jake Gyllenhaal film. Y'all remember seeing that? Yeah, it was a good movie. I love it. I also found out by some other person who told me to go watch a documentary on the Appalachian areas of the country. And they did a really cool special with our part of the country, all the surrounding counties in East Tennessee. And it was so cool. I could see my old stomping ground. I could see all the old churches that I used to sing at. The old trestle I used to play under. It was the coolest thing. I was so impressed with this documentary, so offended that they had subtitles. Yeah. So, a lot of people, the theater community would probably know me as originating the role of Jerry Lee Lewis in Broadway's $1 Million Quartet. And I'm just a grateful working actor for 20 years, and it's been a blessing. But I have to say that many of your nephews and nieces would probably know me actually better as a singer-songwriter with music featured in a lot of their favorite television shows, like So You Think You Could Dance, or The Vampire Diaries, or Sons of Anarchy, fans out there. So I love that show too. I didn't start watching it until they had my song in it. That's the only episode I ever really watched either. But I liked it. No, so it's great. It's great to kind of be here and tell a little bit of both tales for you this evening. I grew up in a pretty strict has negative connotations. I just like to call it structured. We were fundamental Baptist. We thought the Southern Baptists were liberal. Oh, I'm not even kidding you. And my dad was kind of had this military dad type sternness, you know. I mean, you know, and he made an expression maybe once a year. You know how they are, right? And of course, hunting and fishing's a part of our culture. And of course, with 4 boys in the house, everybody had a sport that they would invest in. Football over here, soccer over here, and I was pretty good at basketball. And I remember one of the championship games, shooting the 3-point shot that wins the game, and all of my friends just hoist me up on their shoulders and just feel all of that energy and excitement. And I could see my dad across the gymnasium. I saw him. He cracked a smile, and I knew that this was the night. This was the night that I would tell him that I'd like to go into musical theater. He got about an inch from my face and he said, "Son, this is about as close to drama as you're ever gonna get." No. He was actually very supportive. At a very young age, he took me to Oak Ridge Playhouse. Yes. And introduced me to my very first musical at a very young, impressionable age, Sweeney Todd. Always think of that first moment of us getting in the car and going to see my first musical. When I think of my dad, when I hear the music from Sweeney Todd, I'm gonna do this for him tonight. Nothing's gonna harm you, not while I'm around. Nothing's gonna harm you, no sir, not while I'm around. Demons are prowling everywhere nowadays. I'll send them howling, I don't care. I've got ways. No one's gonna hurt you. No one's going to dare. Others may desert you, not to worry. Whistle, I'll be there. Demons will charm you with a smile for a while, but it's nothing's going to harm you, not while I'm around. Being close and being clever ain't like hide a thing from you like sun. No one's gonna hurt you, no one's going to dare. Others may desert you, not to worry, whistle, I'll be there. Zebras will charm you with a smile for a while, but he'd die. Ooh. Not while I'm around. My mama's name is Connie Lee. She's president of the Brenda Lee Fan Club. That has its own perks. It's so cool to be introduced to that kind of music growing up. Jerry Lee Lewis music at a young age, that turned out pretty right for me. Brenda Lee, Elvis Presley. President of the Brenda Lee Fan Club, you get to know all the core fans, and it was a lot of fun because they were really hardcore, very hardcore, and fanatical. And oftentimes you'd find these great pieces of memorabilia, and there'd be discussion and debate about who would get to be the bearer of this great find, and generally they would agree that, you know, this person would get this. Well, you got this last time, so I'll take this home, and this is good. But they found one time a beautiful, beautiful dress that Brenda Lee wore on the Johnny Carson show. Beautiful long red dress, long red chiffon sleeves, really gorgeous. And so after much debate, things get heated, and people start having complications getting along. And well, they just decided to split it into 4 pieces. My mama got the sleeves, the long red chiffon sleeves. And so being one of the youngest, when my daddy and everybody else went to the UT football game on a Saturday, I'm still kind of young, and my mom would just wait till everybody pulled out of the gravel drive. And then she'd sneak off into her dresser drawer, and she'd grab them long red chiffon sleeves, and she'd shimmy them up over her house coat, grab the curling iron, and sit me down with all my stuffed animals, and put the record on the Brenda Lee needle, and proceed to lip sync to me for 3 hours. And she had the nerve to act surprised when I told her I wanted to go in musical theater. Really, Connie? Really? She introduced me to a lot of great music. Of course, the old rockabilly stuff I love. But I like this one song in particular because it takes me back to winning the Best Young Talent Award at Dollywood in 1987, and the reigning queen of that award that year was a young lady by the name of Mandy Barnett. I don't know if some of y'all have heard her before, but she originated the role of Patsy Cline in Always Patsy Cline, the second musical that I ever saw. And so, I always love to pay homage to, y'all know this song. Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. you love me as long as you wanted. And then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why should I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world could I do? Oh, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying, crazy for crying, and crazy for loving you. Y'all don't listen. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping you may be somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. I go for miles along the highway, well, that's just my way of saying I love you. Somewhere walking after midnight, searching for you. Stop to see a weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. And as the sky turns gloomy, the night bird whispers to me, I'm lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just hoping he may be somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. Some good stuff, huh? I tell you, you don't get better than the classics, right? Y'all having fun? Good. Well, shortly after getting 2 years of college in, I moved to Los Angeles. And since I'm sharing a little bit about my story, this is all about my journey from Oliver Springs to Times Square tonight. You're going to get every sordid detail. Don't have to tell you what kind of culture shock it was to move to Los Angeles. I think I got the skinny pants part down, though. I am so sorry, ma'am. If I get through this show without ripping these suckers, we're gonna be good. No, but it was crazy going to Los Angeles, because I showed up in my Wrangler jeans and my pearl snap shirt and my cowboy boots, and just as friendly as could be, talking to everybody. That's one thing I love about being home more often now. Like, I just really love the kindness, but you know, it's very disconcerting for a lot of city folk, you know. But I don't care. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to a wrong number for 45 minutes. I will. So I was in Los Angeles, and I was staying on the futon of this girl by the name of Louisa Wilson. And she was a friend of mine. She's from Georgia, a little Georgia gal. She went off to work that morning, and I still to this day, I love to do this. When I'm in a city, I love to kind of spend the first week there just sort of soaking up what the city's known for, and immediately getting into some sort of activity that kind of gives me a sense of why that city is what it is. And of course, with new actors getting off the bus every day in Los Angeles, I was excited to see that in the floor there was this thing called Backstage West. Now, maybe y'all have heard of this. It's a magazine where you've got a lot of auditions, projects that are looking for young actors. I'd never looked at it before. I've been on the road since I was 12 years old doing gospel music, and always just thought I'd be a little piano fella singing for the Lord and not knowing what on earth was going on. I started flipping through that little magazine, and I started saying, oh, this is for auditions. And my mom's side of the family are cattle farmers, so I knew what a cattle call was. And I had never heard of this thing called rent. But you know what? I decided no headshot, no resume, no problem. I was 169th in line at a cattle call audition. I think it was like the third day I was in Los Angeles. It wasn't no more than a week. And I remember stood there in line and just so excited to be soaking up the city. And of course, I very quickly found out that actors who are preparing to audition don't particularly care for idle chatter. But it was fun. Y'all want to know what I auditioned with? I'm gonna play it for you. Turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head. Lay down with me and tell me no lies. Just hold me close. Don't patronize. Don't patronize me. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't. You can make your heart feel something that won't. Even the dark, in these final hours, I will lay down my heart when I feel the power. You won't. No, you won't. I can't make you love me if you don't. Oh, I close my eyes and then I won't see the love you don't feel when you're holding me. A morning will come and I'll do what's right. Just give me till then to give up this fight. And I will give up this fight. Oh, I can make you love me. Oh, if you don't, you can make your heart feel something that won't. Here in the dark, I will lay down my heart when I feel the power. You won't, no, you won't. I can make you love me. I can make you love me. If you don't. Ain't no use to cry. Five callbacks later, I got called for the role of Roger in the national tour of Rent. My first job and a 3-month contract, and absolutely horrible at it. No experience, you know, and it was interesting too. I mean, yes, we all have good instincts in in that thing we do, and I felt confident in it, but it was very quickly, we of course discovered that those who have master's degrees in musical theater don't particularly care for those who don't. I remember kind of like starting to feel that pushback from people, and I was, I thought this was going to be a real nice camaraderie, entertainment. No, but I was excited about it. I got bit by the bug, and so I went back to Los Angeles, and I said, well, I guess I better start educating myself. So I found myself a coach to audition for, and I ended up being in classes with a lovely lady by the name of Warner Laughlin. You don't know her, but you might know my classmates, Amy Adams, and Ryan Reynolds, and Matt Bomer, and just an all-star cast of people around me just honing their craft and finding their way, and it was just so inspiring for me, and I started working and calling back to Oliver Springs, Tennessee, and saying, y'all, I just had my second audition, and I'm a lead in the film. I got my third audition, and I'm Matthew McConaughey's brother in a movie called Francie. I got my fourth. So I started working. And of course, now my dad didn't really want to see all that Rent. He knew what that show was about. Filthy. Just worldly stuff. And I get it, because, you know, I enjoy it. I'm proud of the fact that we grew up very devout, and part of the fun of it was this wonderful thing that we would call Bible wars. I don't know if y'all know what those are. Well, I know that you know what they are, you just don't know why I've put a name to it. But it's when you know the scriptures so well that you're sort of able to pick and choose the things that support your argument at any moment. It's really fun. I tell you, you grow up a kid teaching them the Bible with flashcards, Bible drills, all that sort of stuff. Matter of fact, I think I could probably whip one of those out right now. Let me see. What? Someone said, you can quote Jesus wept. I heard you over here. How about this? See if I've lost my touch. Psalm 100, make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands, serve the Lord with gladness, come before his presence with singing, know ye that the Lord he is God, it is he that made us, and not we ourselves, we are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Enter to his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless his name, for the Lord is good, and his mercy endureth forever, and his truth endureth unto all generations. Bam! So you know, we had a lot of fun with it. I was a stubborn kid, and one of my many little stubborn streaks was always being a little late for the bus and kind of getting too carried away trying to trying to, groom myself. It's junior high. We're all insecure in junior high. And I discovered the pompadour too. I mean, that's a reason to hang out and just spend some time with a good barbershop comb. So I was sitting there working on my due. Bus is waiting for me. Daddy comes in and says, "Listen, that bus is waiting for you. I've told you about 100 times to get down there and get on that bus. And you read that Bible plenty enough. No doubt you know the Bible verse, honor your father and mother." Amen. Well, I put down my can of Aquanet, and I cut him a look. And I said, "Well, sure, Daddy. Nobody knows the Bible better than you. The very next verse says, 'Fathers, provoke not your children to wrath.'" Them there's Bible wars. No. No, I love it. It was something I started working, but if I was in a film and I cussed, well, he wouldn't see it. And if I was half naked on stage doing a theater show, he wouldn't see it. So basically, he saw none of my early work. But I always love going back and sharing a little bit. Y'all want me to do just a little bit of Rent, right? I'll do a little bit of Rent. With a song of Roger. One song, glory. One song before I go, glory. One song to leave behind. Find it. One song, one last refrain, glory. From the pretty boy front man who wasted opportunities. One song, he had the world at his feet. Glory in the eyes of a young girl. Young girl, find glory. Cheap colored lights, one song before the sun sets, glory on another empty life. Time flies, time dies, glory, yeah. One blaze of glory, one blaze of glory, glory. How about this one from Rip? 525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles and laughter and striving. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measure in love. Seasons lot of those piano men that I grew up with that sort of informed my taste in musical theater, especially when it celebrates the music of some of our old legends, like the musical Ray Charles, that is. Let me tell you about a girl I know. She's my baby and she lives next door. But every morning when the sun comes up, she brings me coffee in my favorite cup. That's why I know, yes I know, hallelujah, I love her so. When I'm in trouble and I have no friends, I know she'll be with me until the end. But everybody asks me how I know. I smile at them and say she told me so. That's why I know, yes I know, hallelujah, I love her so. When I call her on the telephone and tell her that I'm all alone, but by the time I count from 1 to 4, I hear oh my door now, every evening when the sun goes down, and there ain't nobody hanging around. She looks at me and she holds me tight, and she tells me, pretty baby, everything is alright. That's why I know, yes I know, hallelujah, I love her so. Call her on the telephone and tell her that I'm all alone. But by the time I count from 1 to 4, I hear oh my door now, every evening when the sun goes down, and there ain't nobody hanging around. She looks at me and she holds me tight, and she tells me, Leviticus, everything is alright. That's why I know, yes I know, hallelujah, I love her so. Yeah, hallelujah, I love her so. Yeah, hallelujah, I love her so. This piano man, see my nerves hanging right on my brains. Too much of love drive a man insane. You go my will, oh, what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laugh at love and I thought it was funny. You keep it long and you woo me, honey. I change your mind, your love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Feels good, hold me, baby. Lord, I wanna love you like a lover should. Where you find, so kind. I wanna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I put my lips between my thumbs. A little nervous, but it's always fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Woo! Feels good now. Hold me, baby. Lord, I wanna love you like a lover should. Where you find, so kind. Oh, I'll tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I cut my nails, I put my thumbs. A little nervous, but it's so is fun. Come on, baby, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. That's a role you get too old for. I'm glad we got some young whippersnappers taking over that role. How many of y'all saw the production of $1 Million Quartet here? What'd you think? Great cast, huh? Good group of people to work with, too. Really good stuff. I tell you, looking back at the history of where that all came from, you wouldn't know that if that particular show hit Broadway in 2010, and we started with a little read of a script around a table in 2004. 2004. And it came about in a very interesting way. Coming back to this story where I'm about, with Los Angeles and starting to work, I'd run into this gentleman who was an Emmy Award-winning TV director. You've seen him direct things like Glee, Sons of Anarchy, actually. Great guy. He wrote a musical called One Red Flower, which was a story about 5 guys in their 1-year tour of duty in Vietnam. It was a beautiful, beautiful story. First musical I had actually been cast in and was a part of. And the cool thing about this particular musical was that every character was based on a real life person. Every word that we said, every song that we sang was directly words that were brought over from a book called Dear America, Letters Home from Vietnam. Explanation: this is a book, a collection of letters that soldiers wrote back to their mom, their dad, their wives, their family members. So literally everything that we were singing were real live letters from these soldiers in Vietnam, and it was a beautiful piece. But I think one of the things I loved about it the most, and maybe this is also because growing up in the church, I believe that music is healing. I believe that art is healing. I think that if you can put a good message out there with what you're creating, then that is ideal. And it was just great to see that these Vietnam veterans were coming to us and saying, this felt like our first welcome home. And that was pretty special to me. And so we actually started with that table read early on. And so we workshopped that musical, got it on stage in Seattle, got it on stage, worked our way around the country, did the Kennedy Center, and finally we had our Broadway theater lined up. This was going to be my Broadway debut. And I loved it. I was playing a gentleman who, real life guy, grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. His name was George McDuffie. And he was a real roughneck. And he had a really beautiful turn of character as he was in the war, and his African-American lieutenant soldier saves his life, and then all of a sudden he's confronting with his own bigotry and finding a purpose in supporting actually the men who were there. It was a beautiful musical, and I was really excited to share with the world. On Broadway, the Broadway debut, but a month after getting the news that we were going to Broadway, 9/11 happened. And the producers just couldn't see fit for us to be able to do this now. It was just too uncomfortable, I think, for a lot of us, right? It was just a hard time. And so we kind of hoped that maybe it would have another day, that we would eventually get to put it up, but we went home, and it was the producers of that musical that called me up months later and said, hey, we got this little hillbilly skit about Sam Phillips. We love working with you, and we heard that you might be able to play the piano a little bit. Anyway, I always kind of love being able to go back to that and share a little bit of it. These songs that the lyrics were lifted straight out of this of letters from soldiers home. Do y'all want to get a little glimpse of what that was? Yeah, I'll do it. This is a song where George McDuffie, who's Memphis, Tennessee, is riding home to his mom and dad and his little brother Ben, and he was about to come home, but he's re-upped for another year, and he feels like he's really needed where he is, and it's just him trying to break the news to his family that he's actually not coming back home. But this is called My Own Dream, from a real life letter from George. So cool. I want so much to make you happy. I want so much to be worthy of your love. I know you've got dreams for me, but I hope that you will see what I'm dreaming of. day I return, the day that I hold you in my arms again, home to you and Dad and bed. That's my own dream. To sit home and eat the best fried chicken and corn on the cob. I always eat like a starving slob in my own dream. In my own dream. But over here I'm needed more than back with you. Even though this isn't what I planned, but these men need a leader's hand. I am that hand. The day I return, the day that we bow our heads in grace, you'll know I gave my all to this place. I know it hurts, Mom, your son's dreaming of Vietnam. Vietnam. Some men choose to fight in the streets, in the parliaments, in the schools. You may wonder if they're right. We're the heroes, are we the fools? But all this man knows is this man chose Vietnam. Oh, I chose Vietnam. The day I return, maybe you'll see what I see tonight. Amidst all the wrongs, a little light. For one more year, your boy fought for what is right in my home dream. Yes, in my own dream. That's my own dream. Dream. How y'all feeling? I'm gonna sneak in a couple of original songs. So many of y'all know I grew up in gospel music, and I think with that, I've always believed whether you're acting a role or whether you're singing a song, do it with conviction, you know. And if you believe it, everybody else will too. And I've kind of taken that into a lot of the songs that has been in some of these television shows that I've been fortunate enough to be in. But I'll only share a couple with you because I know the power of hearing familiar songs. But one of them, these two in particular, tell a little bit of a story. And I always like to share them because I always, never fail, find that so many of you end up relating, talking to me about it, bringing the CD home, needing to hear something uplifting every now and then. And so this is a song that kind of, for me, celebrated, I'm celebrating 10 years of sobriety. Really proud of it. And I always believe it is all just looking back and remembering that it's just like they say, always sit in church. It's just the darkest before the dawn. And so I wanted to write about that. This is a song called Dawn of a New Day. Another morning cold and gray, but above the clouds it's a sunny day. Cabin fever's had its way for way too long. I went to wasted in my bed, covers thrown over my head, and tried my darndest to forget the love that's dead and gone. But I'm ready to get on the bright side. I'm ready to walk on the light side again and put my blue jeans on, play my favorite song, take a deep breath and wish away for the dawn of a new day. Brave this world in style, maybe flash my smile, thinking I'm gonna be okay. Dawn of a new day, yeah. Dawn of a new day, yeah. A broken heart could take your fight, and you knew how to break mine right. But every burn can lose its bite with a little time to heal. It don't feel good to hit the ground, but you're laughing by another round, 'cause this old ball ain't slowing down. No matter how you're feeling, I feel ready to get on the right side. I'm ready to walk on the light side again, put my blue jeans on, play my favorite song, take a deep breath and wish away for the dawn of a new day. Brave this world in style, maybe flash my smile, thinking I'm gonna be okay. Dawn of a new day, yeah. Dawn of a new day, yeah. I may dream of being in your arms again, and I don't think I'll soon forget your kiss. But getting stuck inside a maze of might-have-beens, no, life's too short to carry on like this, like put my blue jeans on, play my favorite song, take a deep breath and wish away for the dawn of a new day. Brave this world in style, maybe flash my smile, thinking I'm gonna be okay. Dawn of a new day, yeah. Dawn of a new day, yeah. Dawn of a new day, yeah. Dawn of a new day, yeah, yeah. I'll do one more original for you, because I don't always do this song, and I didn't do it last night, but sometimes I just feel like there's somebody who needs to hear this. If it wasn't for a daily, I don't solicit any particular type of religion. That's your business to figure out. But I do believe in a daily spiritual practice, and I do believe that there's something about leaning on a higher power that really does make the quality of life better for all of us, right? And I heard somebody want to clap over that. Do you want? I wrote this song in the middle of a studio apartment floor. A few hours coming down from my last high, and it clicked for me. It made me realize that my answer was always right there. I was raised right. And this was the moment in song. This was my turning point where I decided to let all of this go and lean into the good that I was called for. And May 27th, 2009, I wrote this song. And I know that it has nothing to do with my, the story of sobriety, because all of us have something underneath that we need to let go of. This is a song called Let It Go. A gift for whoever it is, I don't know. After all these years, God, what have I done? The mistakes I've made, and there's more than one, and I can't help but wonder if I can let it be. I keep looking back, this wounded heart tears my mind in two and my soul apart, but it's over now, time for me to move on. Let it go, let it all go. It's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. Let it go, let it all go. It's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. Baby, please don't cry. There will come a time when you understand there's a greater plan. But until the day, you will be just fine. Just keep moving on and keep holding out. There's a fire in you that no past can put out, and it's calling you, baby. Let it burn, let it burn, let it go, let it all go. It's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. Let it go, let it all go. It's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. Oh, now will you gonna stop abusing yourself, stop accusing yourself, giving every excuse to not believe in yourself? Love is all you need. Close your eyes and breathe. Let go. Let it all go. It's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. Let it go, let it all go. Oh, it's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. It's time to forgive now, the one who matters most. You've got to forgive now, the one who matters most. and breathe. Let go. So I got one more before I send you off to intermission. But I gotta say, I'm so excited about putting together this Broadway At The Keys tour, and it was exciting when it was voted by the LA Theater Critics as the best concert cabaret of the year. And and it was great. It's great that I get to share it with you guys and bring it home. And Broadway At The Keys album is everything that you're hearing tonight you can get outside, and I actually wanted to save you all some time. I know that many of you all leave right after the show, so I've already just pre-signed 50 copies for you to get at intermission, so that everything you hear tonight you can go home with. It's wonderful. Broadway At The Keys, as a singer, y'all know a little bit of my singer-songwriter background now, so I can tell you, I really thought it was interesting to just strip away the bravado of Broadway, because I love that it's big, I love that it's flashy, but I also think if you hear songs like Not While I'm Around and Corner of the Sky and all that stuff has a really sweet message to it, and I just kind of wanted to treat it like a singer-songwriter would and keep it real minimal and just experience the songs for a different way. And that's kind of what I did with this album and a lot of the songs that you're hearing. With Let It Go, this entire album's, the whole purpose of this entire album is to try to bring as much healing the self as possible, with not only forgiving ourselves of maybe some of the past bad choices we've made, but it's a super happy album as well. It's not a downer, in case some of y'all were yawning through that last song. Dawn of a New Day, etc. All that stuff's on here. Find yourself out there on intermission. We got you all set up. But I'm going to take you back to one of the musicals I love the most, because I had the opportunity to perform a lot of songs that Miss Brenda Lee taught me as a kid. She ended up becoming a friend of the family, hopping on her bus and going on a couple of summer tours with her. I got to watch her on stage and off. She is such a class act. She taught me one of the things she'll repeat to this day, too. Be kind to everybody you meet, because you meet the same people on the way up as you do on the way back down. Ain't that the truth? But it was her that introduced me first to Hallelujah, I Love Her So, and I eventually heard that with Ray Charles. But I always loved this song that I first heard from Brenda Lee, and it just celebrates for me the great music in the musical Smokey Joe's Cafe. I'm gonna leave you with a little my version of Kansas City. It might get a little rowdy, I'm sorry. Beforehand. Still holding on to the stitching, so I think I'm okay. Going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City, baby. Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna stand on the corner, 12th Street and find. I'm gonna be standing on the corner, baby, 12th Street and find. With my Kansas City, baby, and a bottle of Kansas City wine. Yeah, I might take a plane, I might take a train, but if I had to walk, even I'm going just the same. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna give me one. Let's take our time with this now. might take a train, oh, I might take a plane. But if I have to walk, yeah, I'm going just the same. I'm going to Kansas City, baby. Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little women there, and I'm gonna give it one. They got some crazy little women there, I'm gonna get me one.